Hello everybody, my name's Conor McGilligan, this is One Leeds, welcome back to the latest video. This video, as always, is sponsored by Shop GNO, The Job Match Group and Match Bingo. Let's get into it. First up, The Job Match Group. Whether you're looking for your next big gig or just browsing, The Job Match Group has niche job sites made just for you. F1, retail, security and loads more. They're about matching the right person to the right job. Make sure you check them out if you're ready to level up your career. Then we've got Shop GNO, an exciting new e-commerce site where you can grab exclusive deals and discounts. Right now, One Leeds has an affiliate link just below where you can score a 25 quid membership for free, unlocking special rates and benefits. You can even list your own shop on there with way better rates than Amazon, eBay and Vinted. They've got some Leeds bits and some general bits now and launching soon, plus some great prizes just for signing up. This is all powered by a massive Leeds United fan looking to make waves in the online shopping world. So check them out and support your local. And don't forget our mates at Match Bingo. They're smashing it with footy fun. You can get 5 bingo cards for the price of 4 through One Leeds, and you can even deposit just $5 at a time to join the action. It's a big chance to win whilst having a blast with your fellow Leeds United friends. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Check the links in the description, and let's get on with the video. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to One Leeds. My name is Conor McGilligan. This is the Rumour Mill, your favourite daily dose of transfer news, and we're live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I hope you're doing okay. I hope everything's going good. It's 30 degrees, and I'm here talking to you with lights, camera, action. Listen, we've got a few bits to talk about today, but if I could maybe encourage you to like the video, that would be absolutely splendid, everybody. We hit 2,000 likes on the Rumour Mill yesterday, which is the most we've ever got on a Rumour Mill, even when we've signed a player. So thank you so much for that. You're all absolute gems, and I love you all. Thank you so much for that. The subscribers looking really healthy at this moment in time. So you guys are doing that due diligence. And I do have the best subscriber base on YouTube. I'm going out and saying it, and I've said it multiple times. The One Leadsers are absolutely fantastic. And thank you to every single one of you tunes in every single weekday from 10 a.m. So we've got bits to talk about today. We've got Mateo Joseph. We've got Habib Diarra. We've got Georgia Petrovic. We've got Samake as well. We've got a little bit of a player profile on Wilson Samake as well. We've got Guardian news when it comes to a few updated bits. We're going to speak about Diarra. What's going on? Why the delay? We're going to speak about Gabriel Gudmundsson as well. And we're going to speak about replacing physicality with more physicality. See some of the regulars in here. Good morning, Connor. All flipping heck. There's be-all here. There's be-all there. There's be-all everywhere. Morning, Connor. One crew. Have a good Friday, people. You too, my friend. Morning, Connor. How you, Dave? How's it going? Darren's in the building. Morning, Connor. Where's Yaka? Morning, Connor. How you, Knox? How's it going, mate? Morning, Connor. Lad Lewis in the building. What's going on, Lewis? All the regulars in here. Johnny Pinks. Lee's in the building. How you, Lee? Good to see you in here, mate. Josh. A bit warm today, like it is, mate. I mean, I was watching like an Aussie talk about the British heat, and he was like, it does hit differently. He was like, because the Aussies just get ridiculous, like winters, not just summers, but winters that ridiculously hot. Americans do. But when you're over here, because it rains a lot and because the weather is very up and very down, but mostly down, when it's hot here, it hits different. It does hit different. Your body's almost acclimatized to just defending itself from blistering winds and terrible cold rain. So when you get heat over here for a period of time, it hits a different level. And it is so true. It's so true. Morning, Jay Lee says, morning, Connor. Given current signings and rumours, what would your starting 11 be? Mate, we could get on there. Hey, Connor. We'll get onto that, mate. Hi, Annabelle. How's it going? Connor, you need to buy a comb. Okay, well, what do you want me to do with my hair, mate? What do you want me to do? But yeah, a comb. I've not used a comb, mate, since I was about 8 years old. Do people use combs anymore? A comb, a brush maybe, but a comb. Flipping heck, mate. When I was Danny Zuko in Tadcaster Grammar School's 2010 production of Grease the Musical, I used a comb then, mate. How about that? How about that? How about that for a bit of news? Ant Rothery, morning, fella. First live of the week. Loving the name chain, One Leeds. Yeah, shout out to you, mate. It's nice to see a lot of people liking the rebrand as well, which has taken a lot. So thank you so much for that. Kim says, morning, Connor. I'm so glad to catch you live on the best YouTube channel. Kim, catch you every single day, mate. Thank you so much. Okay, everybody. So we've had a nice little chat, haven't we? We've been going for around about 5 minutes. So I guess we have to get into the stuff, don't we? Let's talk about Mateo. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. I'm playing on it. Mateo Joseph and Birmingham. Neil Moxley, who is a journalist in and around the Birmingham sphere, has been speaking over the last couple of days. He broke the news around about 2 days ago, but we didn't speak about it on the channel because we've been covering Habib Diarra and just Rodrigo Muniz and everybody else. Sometimes it's not actually on the day with Rumour Mill. We just have to actually like collect it from the previous days. But sometimes those rumours get missed because there are so many of them. Mateo Joseph, apparently Birmingham have an interest in him. Obviously, Leeds rejected a 10 million quid bid in January. Apparently, Betis are coming back around with another offer, but we haven't seen anything yet. You know, I'm surfing Mundo Deportivo. I'm surveying all the time Marca to see if there's anything, something reputable. There is nothing when it comes to Joseph and Betis. There's nothing even local publication wise in Seville when it comes to Joseph. So, yeah, interesting when it comes to Betis. Have they cooled their interest a little bit? Is there going to be something there that is going to come to fruition maybe later on in the window? You'd expect so. But with obviously Nemecha coming in, I can't see Matteo sticking around. I think that was it's when you look at the type of player that Nemecha is, he's almost a bit, in my opinion, a combination of Joseph and a Bamford. So if you're going for a combination of those two, it's going to be quite difficult for Matteo to stick around and actually get minutes. You know, Nemecha's going to be on a decent wage as well, probably on a much more lucrative wage than someone like Mateo Joseph as well. So there's going to be a bit of preference there in terms of minutes as well. Farke's going to have given him the big tick box when it comes to him coming in and signing as well. So I feel like he's going to be ahead of someone like Mateo. The best news for him would be to move on. I think in terms of a loan for me, I would go for a loan, but I understand PSR we are at a point where we're going to have to sell some players of which we can get mass amount of profits for. Matteo could be that, if you're going to bring in like 10, 15 million quid of profit against the books, that could help Leeds in being able to get some more signatures in and around the club. So that's something that's preferential for me, preferential for you, beneficial for me, beneficial for you. And obviously, a positive for Leeds United. I just don't want to see him go. I just feel if we send him out on loan, let's see what we get next season. Even if he's with Brum in the Championship and he bags 20, 25 goals, he's been down there with Leeds a little bit this season, hasn't quite worked out for him. He's raw. Let's have him down there for another season, see where he's at. And even worst case scenario, Leeds do go down, which the bookies will tell you we are. If Leeds do go down, you've got a certified player there who's played for Birmingham, done well for Birmingham, might have even got promoted with Birmingham. And you've got to kind of look at the different positions there when it comes to a Leeds transfer with Matteo. So, but you could keep hold of him and he could do well for you in the Championship. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. The Birmingham news makes sense. It'd be a really good transfer for them, in my opinion. But I think there'd have to be a heavy loan fee on it if there is just a loan, because I can't imagine Leeds going to let him go to Brum. But we know Brum have got the financial package to do it. But they are now intertwined with PSR because they are in the top 2 tiers of English football. So something to keep an eye on there. Morning, Connor. Hey, Steve. How's it going? Alan's in the building. Morning, Connor. Great. Fantastic channel. Thanks, bud. Look, it's always great. It's always great. We always do the sort of like, mornings, don't we? Every morning. It's like, you and your mum on a morning brings you, or used to do, doesn't happen anymore, but brings you like a cup of tea and a bit of toast. Do you know what I mean? It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, morning, you're right. It's kind of like we have that, don't we? But, I'll get a tea brought to me. I don't know what's going on in your world when it comes to that. Someone bring you a bit of toast when you're watching My Ugly Mug. I don't know. Morning, sir. Hey, Scott. Not caught up in a while. Leeds still wanting Hamer, Sousa, Cooper, etc. Thanks. It's cooled on that, mate. It's cooled. I'm seeing with Sousa that it seems very, very heavy on the Turkish league. Hamer apparently does want to stay in Sheffield. That's the heavy news beat right now. But it's going to be fascinating to see what happens with Hamer, Sousa, and Cooper, mate. Cooper, obviously, of interest. I think a bit of a much cheaper fee than what Sheffield United want for him. Everton still lurking around there. Hamer is an interesting one. Is he going to? I don't know. With Wilder, I feel like him leaving could have a serious impact on Hamer, but we'll have to wait and see. He's going to have to lose about 4 stone if he wants to play under Ruben Sayers, I can tell you that. So we'll have to wait and see with that one. Sousa shouldn't be playing at Championship level, and Cooper probably shouldn't either, really. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Morning, Connor. Hi, Auntie. What's going on? Borda, as we say in Wales. How's it going? Jam, was that a better accent, mate? Was that a better delivery from me? Gabriel Gudmundsson. Okay, the YEP confirming that Leeds United are in for the Swedish left back who's currently playing in France. They confirmed that the other day, obviously, after it being sort of spiraled around on the rumour mill. So yeah, good news there when it comes to Leeds United. Very similar in terms of a player, but probably a little bit more defensively astute as being a consistent, steady, reliable player, dependable for Lille in Ligue 1. Massive fan of that. Don't mind that whatsoever. Steady player, barely any errors in his game whatsoever. Can sometimes get caught out when he goes forward on that transition, but so can every single fullback. It happens. That's what happens when you go forward and you've got a team who are quick on the transition, but a much more defensively minded left back than what Junior Firpo is. Firpo, a couple of inches bigger than him, which is interesting when Leeds United are targeting physical profiles and tall profiles, which I'm a massive fan of. Get me back to a techie Stoke City in 2008. Thank you very much. But yeah, decent value. Once again, we've spoken about Gudmundsson several times, but it looks like obviously with the YEP confirming that over the past couple of days, that could be something that is a little bit more solid and reliable. But something to bear in mind, I keep saying this when it comes to local publications. There are the publications out there when it comes to Leeds United that you trust, and the homegrown ones of which we're all like, oh, okay. But I feel like in this circuit, the big boys of the news right now, I feel there's a couple out there on the European circuit who are proving quite reliable. You've obviously got your top two, haven't you, when it comes to Ornstein and when it comes to Romano. But I just feel maybe still the Leeds journo circuit, aside from Berren, is sort of it's not breaking stories, is it? It's not breaking stories as of yet. It's more just like quelling stories when we're not interested. So it'd be interesting to see how that develops over the next couple of months. Is it going to be breaking stories by, our local news publications, or is it just going to be sort of, hammering down on, no, these aren't the players that we're going for? Because, there's obviously been some back and forth when it's come to some of our journalists arguing with some European circuits, journalists online as well, bits and bats going on with that. And it's been quite entertaining to watch. But yeah, it's there's going to be agent talk here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, I think there's sort of the confirmation from our local source is something that we all look at and think brilliant. But I think the breaking news seems to, and we've said this for 2 or 3 years on the channel, to be honest. In fact, since Rads was involved, it feels like it's more on the European circuit, the breaking news and the solidified links that we get. So yeah, I don't know what Leeds are doing to the local journalists. Maybe they're just sort of feeding them bits and bats whenever they want, because it's obviously it's job wise for them, isn't it? They need to get some of these sort of breaking news stories, but it doesn't look like it's happening that much. Deck says apparently Gudmundsson be spotted at TA, which could have a double announcement with BL pending. Deck, that'd be nice, wouldn't it, mate? What a start that would be. Hamer got his favourite kebab house in Sheffield. That's why. Mike says, I like the director of football structure when the club decides who goes, who stays, or leaves on loan. Not a manager. Could be sacked within a number of days, like the aforementioned. 100%, mate. Hamer seen in Greg's. Connor, was it true? He was seen around Thorpe Arch. I saw that, mate. I saw that. Obviously, Andrew, I can't give you confirmation that from a personal standpoint, mate. I wasn't there, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, fascinating when it comes to him. I'm a massive fan. I'm a massive fan of the profiles that we're going for, the physical profiles that we're going for. We're bringing in athletes. It seems to be one of those things where Leeds are eventually, we didn't do it last time. We just didn't do it last time. I thought, you go back and you actually look at the recruitment, which I've done several times in that period when we went up under Bielsa, and it was effective players in terms of a press, effective players in terms of the technical level. But the problem was that physicality, and there was still a massive physical output in the Premier League at that point. But I feel in the last couple of seasons, in particular in the Premier League, in that summer where we brought in Klaas and Firpo and Dan James, oh my God, that was our transfer window. Good Lord. And we stood still and clubs continued to evolve. I felt in particular in that period of time, you sort of started to see your Bournemouth, you sort of started to see your Crystal Palaces really bring in a physical, not that they didn't before, but I felt like it was that summer period in particular where Leeds just got completely left behind, and they started bringing in real physical profiles who could also play with the ball at the feet. So it was a nightmare. And then Leeds fell behind and, fell behind on the pitch as well. So morning, Connor. It's Swedish midsummer today, and a Gabriel Gudmundsson announcement seems fitting. Anyway, love the transfer update. Shout out to you, Ek. Thanks so much, buddy. Really appreciate that, my friend. Hope all's well your end. You seen Harry Redknapp said about Leeds? I haven't, mate. I think he said that we're going to stay up, didn't he? I think he said that we're going to stay up, which is quite nice. Number 300 likes. Yeah, how many have we got, everybody? Come on. How many have we got? We do this every morning, don't we? Every morning, if you're part of the mill, every single morning, we go and we have a look. We'll have a look, won't we? But yeah, guys, let's have a quick look about what target are we on now, Andy? Lee's in the building. Normally who helps as well. So what are we on? We're on How many of you are in this morning as well? I've not got the actual stream up. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. We've got 869 of you, which is fantastic. How many have we got liked it? 315. Let's rack it up. Come on. Come on. You can do better than that. You know you can. Robert says, be happy over the heat. I have 17 here in Sweden, rather have 30. 100%, mate. 100%, of course. Of course. I'm only being pedantic. Habib Diarra. Okay. Got a little bit of a problem here. Ladies and gentlemen. Sports Mole, Hard Tackle, and Caught Offside are reporting this morning that Villa are now interested, Frankfurt are now interested, Everton are now interested, and Chelsea are now interested. Now, a little bit of detail behind Chelsea and Strasbourg. They are part of something called Blueco, which is a grouping similarly to the 49ers with Leeds United and Rangers. They're in a grouping with Chelsea and Strasbourg. Liam Rossini, obviously the boss of Strasbourg. This is just, it feels greedy, this. I mean, Chelsea, come on. Really? Caicedo, Enzo, Lavia, off the top of my head, Asugo, Andre Santos. Really? Do you need Habib Diarra? Chelsea are apparently front runners as of sort of today. It feels on all the circuits now. You put Chelsea and Habib Diarra in, it fits a lot of the profile. Leeds, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but have bid for players. The official bids that have gone in have been Rodrigo Muniz and have been Habib Diarra. I feel like they're putting these out in particular because it's almost like it's outlandish. It's like, we might get them, but I tell you what, we'll test the waters. Probably won't happen, but we'll try it anyway. And I think that's what they've done. They've tried it with Habib Diarra. They've tried it with Rodrigo Muniz. I've said before that I think there's a negotiation there to be had with Rodrigo Muniz. People saying that around about 35 million it could go to, and rumours suggesting that Leeds might go to that as well. Obviously, the overall package for the official bid for Muniz was around 32 million quid, 26 plus 6 add-ons. Habib Diarra was around about 29 million euros, 25, 26 million quid. And apparently there's a slap value on him now of around about 30 million quid. And Chelsea, Villa. I don't know how Villa would do this. They'd have to have a lot of sales. Obviously, with their PSR, they're at risk right now. They're going to have to sell at some point. But obviously, you go to the continent, you see Frankfurt. Could they stump up 30 million quid? I'm sure they can. But rumours suggest that Habib Diarra apparently favours a move to the Premier League. We spoke about that around about a week ago, favouring a move to the Premier League. So it does feel all steam towards Chelsea again. So yeah, obviously they've got their. Could they get a bit of a discount deal as well? Could there be something funky going on between the clubs as well when it comes to the financially, which aids Chelsea a little bit? Yes, I mean somehow Chelsea, in a PSR standpoint, are top of the league in terms of clarity, in terms of being at risk. They're top of the league in terms of being absolutely fine. Bottom of the league right now is Aston Villa, something to keep an eye on. Is Muniz worth 35 million though? What I'd say, Lewis, with Muniz is, I think the problem is similar to Gabriel Gudmundsson. You've got to be careful when it comes to his contract. Gudmundsson's contract runs out in 2026. I believe Rodrigo Muniz's is very similar. Very similar. Let's get a bit of clarification on that now in terms of his contract. Yeah, his contract expires in June 2026, which is the exact same as Gudmundsson. So Leeds are doing this on purpose as well. They're looking at players whose contracts are maybe expiring in the next year or two and trying to get good value for these players as well. Because if you look at Lille and Gabriel Gudmundsson, it's probably the last summer of which they can get good value for him. If he doesn't sign a new contract, doesn't sound like he wants to, keeps talking up the Premier League again. And this is sort of the level up of what Leeds United have now with this resource. And Habib Diarra, and when you're looking at Habib Diarra, a bit more extensive when it comes to a contract, but in particular, Rodrigo Muniz is the one, and obviously, they can demand a little bit more when it comes to Rodrigo. But you do kind of look at it and think to yourself, is this going to be one that Leeds could do for a decent fee? And I think we've got to take that into consideration. I really do, because I don't think you should be paying anything more than 30, really. Or can you pay? I mean, but then, look, we're going all around the houses here, but then, Rodrigo Muniz comes into Leeds United. Leeds pay a pretty penny for him. Leeds pay 35 million quid and he keeps us up. He keeps us up. He's got a good goal record in the Premier League this season, 24, good sell-on value. I mean, he'd want to come in with a release clause, which would be the problem because all young players want to do that nowadays. So, like, Liam Delap. So Leeds might not be able to make an outstanding profit on him. But the contract status is really interesting with players like Gudmundsson and Rodrigo Muniz, because Leeds have targeted them both, and both contracts run out in 2026. So they'll be looking for a high and good value. Yes, he does. Tenacious G. He does have a year on top. He does have a year on top. I think it's exercised in obviously in a certain way though, isn't it? So that's something to bear in mind there. But I think it's an option, isn't it? It's an option to extend it. Matt says, "Hi Connor, loving the new layout on the stream. GSS, eat your heart off. Thoughts on Leaf Davis? Shout out to you, Matt. Yeah, Leaf Davis, fine. Probably wouldn't bring him in, mate. I think once again he's symptomatic of the gap between the Championship and the Premier League. Look, was one of the best left backs that there has ever been in the Championship, and struggled a little bit on that left hand side, in my opinion, anyway, in the Premier League. Okay, let's move on. Georgi Petrovic, Leeds United. His name has always been in the hat when it comes to Georgia, but now there's Monaco in. And interestingly enough, as of the last couple of days, obviously he's been left out of Chelsea's club championship squad to go over there, and there has been a 30 million quid value put on his head now. Something to bear in mind. Obviously, we were talking about Petrovic being in and around 16 million quid. That looks to have doubled from pretty much every single Chelsea source I've looked at this morning. They're looking at a bit of a market value of 30 million quid with him being at 25 years of age as well. That seems a little bit realistic. And once again, at the start of the window, Leeds United said that there was a spine that we could invest in when it comes to goalkeeper, defender, midfield, and striker in terms of 30 million each and away on each position. So something to bear in mind there. Just remember, we paid 25 million quid for Brendan, mate. We paid 25 for him, 25 for Dan, 30 million quid for Rodrigo as well. Crazy. Connor, I can still see Diarra coming in as it might get done. Lee says, Connor, if Diarra wants game time, then just maybe choose Leeds above Chelsea. I guess, yeah, that's the one that we've got to look at there, is maybe the Everton interest. Obviously, they're trying to build a squad right now, aren't they, to get into the Hill Dickinson Stadium and to have a bit of a showcase season, it feels. So, yeah, one to keep an eye on is Everton. It feels like this is going to be the first big summer where Everton can actually spend with all the financial issues they've had. James says, Dewsbury Hall or Leslie Ugachukwu if they get Diarra. Oh, nice. I like that, mate. Hover says, how are we on the Evan Gassan pursuit, mate? Nothing's developed from yesterday, mate. Nothing whatsoever. Could be agent talk, pal, but we had to talk about it. And at least we know if it is an actual link of which we're looking at and thinking, oh my lord. Yeah, if it's a link that comes to fruition, then I've done a profile on him already, haven't I? I've done my profile on him already. But yeah, as of today, mate, nothing. Nothing concrete. Clark says, seen a few reports saying Roma are looking at Matt O'Reilly if he's available. Would you? Yeah, mate. We need me and Oscar to do a stream on Matt O'Reilly. Matt O'Reilly would be perfect. Physical, technical, can play multiple positions in that midfield. Good off his right foot as well as his left. Yeah, Matt O'Reilly's. Yeah, yes. Short answer. Okay, let's move on. Wilson Samake. Now, this guy was linked to Leeds United yesterday. Not an amazing link. I didn't obviously put him in the profile because it's not, in the thumbnail, I should say, in the title. It's not like an amazing link, but this is something which is interesting because Wilson Samake can play off the right. He can play up front. Doesn't really fit the Leeds profile of which we're going for this summer. 5'9", has a lot of development. I would say very much like, do you remember when years ago we reported on Leeds and Wahi? Do you remember the striker at the time for Montpellier? And Leeds were looking at him. He was only a youngster, around about 18, 19, had scored a decent amount of goals for Montpellier. And he's very much of that bracket, in my opinion, right now. He's not quite on the level, in my opinion, of a young player who's at a really good development stage at the age of 21. Bearing in mind, everybody, 21, it's crazy, isn't it? Not every player is like Willian Yonto. It's unbelievable. I know people think that by 21, you should already be a superstar and banging in 150 million goals. But this doesn't happen. But yeah, French under 21 international, very raw. I look at him and I think physically he's not there. Decision making's not there, but he's extremely mobile. And what I would say about it all as well is he's someone who could definitely develop into, a decent player. From what you watch of him, from what you read about him, looks like a decent player. And we've got to build that bench up, everybody. We have to build that bench up. So maybe Samake comes in and he's just part of that bench with someone like Nemecha. and we're getting some absolute scrabble on that bench, aren't we, when it comes to wording. Lucas Nemecha and Wilson Samake, unbelievable. But yeah, look, he looks like a decent player, enthusiastic. Once again, when he's on the pitch, mobile, versatile, good on the transition, good on a counter attack as well. But for me, he would be part of a bench option. So yeah. That's the problem with Joseph. He's 22, and everybody thinks the problem with Joseph, he's 22 and everyone thinks he should be scoring. Yeah, mate, don't get me started. Right, what's Ryan Kent up to? I'm not sure. Chelsea are a parasitic club. Great word, mate. Do you think Darlow is good enough as a substitute goalkeeper? I think he'll be third, mate. Third keeper. Andrew says it really knocks me off that we just don't go and get a goalkeeper. Missed that on Kelleher, and now looks like Petrovic will end up blowing money on Ramsday. I hope it's not. I really, really hope it's not on him, mate. I have to say. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one as well. We'll keep an eye on that. I love this as well. Damasio just doesn't do it for me whatsoever. Deck says Damasio is, you know what, hot normally. That is hilarious. Like from Connor to Deck, one comment after the next is just completely disagree. And that's discourse, debate, discussion. That's what we get with One Leeds. Everybody can have an opinion. We might disagree with each other, but it's we want to farm that 100%. Everybody can get involved. Okay, we spoke about Petrovic, spoke about Samake, and yeah, guys, I think there's not that much. I have to be honest with you. I mean, there's a lot of discussion right now, of course, when it comes to Yaka, Beal, and what's going on. The panic looks like we're okay at this moment in time. It looks like we're okay when it comes to Yaka. Now, what I would compare this with previously is maybe Solomon over the weekend. Do you remember there was a period of around about 5-6 days where we didn't hear anything? I wouldn't be too worried about it, guys. There's going to be a lot going on behind the scenes. I know some of you are saying Gudmundsson might be a double announcement. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? I don't think I've ever seen that with Leeds United. But I wouldn't worry too much. I wouldn't panic. I think from all reports, what we know is a deal has been done with Leeds United. Every deal has been done. So the deal has been done. The medical has been done from every side of it. The Italian side, from the Leeds side of it. There's been strong reports that Leeds United have got the medical done. And there's a lot of people suggesting that, it can't be announced till the 1st of July. Well, it can. It can be made official like Lucas Nemecha was, and for a paid sign, it can be made official. Of course it can. So, yeah. And you got to think as well, guys, the 1st of July thing was an opinion. But yeah, I think it's going to be fine. I don't see any. Look, I'm not coming with any authority, but from the reports that you read, it's done and dusted with BL. So I think it'll be fine. Everybody, just calm down. How about that? Baz says, "Good to see you live. I think I'll subscribe to you." Oh, thanks, mate. Great. Every bit of funding help this top bod keep it going. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. What I will say as well, everybody, is we upload every single episode to Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. If you fancy that, James, I'm good, mate. Thank you so much. So you can head on over there. Head on over there if you fancy it. But yeah, guys, I think that, as Ishi says here, what's the conflicting report on Kristovic? So no official bid yet. Then I think there's conflicting reports, mate, when it comes to the Italian side and the Leeds side as well. So it's who you believe, isn't it? It's who you believe. But guys, I'm going to leave it there. It's not been too long this morning, around about 30 minutes, which is what we always wanted the Rumour Mill to be. But I'm not just going to fill you with, we are just going to talk about the rumours on the mill. If there's not more on there, then we're not going to. But we are going to touch lastly on Mr. Joe Gomez. Now, The Guardian are reporting that apparently Leeds United, among several other clubs, are in for the defender. Now, Joe Gomez, very injury-riddled, but has had 241 appearances for Liverpool. And yeah, as a player, as a quality, as caliber, it would be an outstanding signing. But Leeds are amongst a fair few clubs in for him right now. So yeah, 30 million quid. Now, let me know in the comment section below, everybody. Really interested to hear your thoughts on this one. Would he be someone that you go with? And I want reasoning. I want reasoning as to why you would and why you wouldn't go for Gomez. We'll get his stats up right now, but 30 million quid, 28 years of age. So he's a good age, Soccer AM. I have to say Soccer AM every single time, don't I? But yeah, I'm just going to put Leeds as the interest right now, and obviously we know other clubs are in for him. But let's just get his profile up here, shall we? So we'll move to Joseph and we'll go Joe Gomez. So as you can see there, 874 minutes played this season, which is probably in the round with Ramazani's minutes played this season, which obviously wasn't a lot. 17 appearances, which doesn't mean he started all of these games, everybody. It just means that, a lot of them he's come on. I don't think he started many at all this season. But Joe Gomez, it'll be so interesting to see him at Leeds United in terms of fighting against relegation. But I think in a low block, he works nicely. I think he's got all the components from an aerial standpoint, from a dual standpoint, to really survive in a relegation battle. But I guess you're taking a risk, aren't you? And the risks that I want to take this season, if I'm brutally honest with you guys, the risks that I want to take are potentially bench options for players who've had injury records. You know, Nemecha, if Solomon came in, would Solomon be used as rotation potentially? But I think it's really, really important to go out and get players with good contract availability when it comes to the amount left that they've got on their deal. Obviously, because then Leeds will get a good deal for them, and it might be the clubs in region of wanting to sell players with only a year left for the last fee that they'll get for those players. But I think it's also really important to go and get players like Jacobiel, who played 34 times this season, when Udinese played 34 games, captain them as well at points. And that is the dependability and availability you want from your starters. Now, players who are on the bench, I completely get it. But is Joe Gomez going to give you, if Leeds sign him on a 3-year deal, is he going to give you 85% on the pitch in terms of availability? I don't think he will. I don't think he will. But 30 million is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And there's a lot of risk on that for me. Another right foot it would be. Yeah, I think Gomez is good with his left foot though as well, mate. Won't Liverpool won't sell? Apparently they have. Apparently, Jarell Quansah's on his way to Leverkusen for 40 million euros. I don't know how they do it. I honestly don't know how they do it. I I have no idea how they do it. Liverpool, they're on a different level when it comes to negotiation. They really are. So, yeah, let's have a look at what you guys are saying on that. Wages, injuries, no doubt he's got it, but spending that amount on injury player, not for me. Farker has been backed by the 49ers. Yeah, hold on, guys. I might have something for you here. Hold on. I might have something for you. Mm, okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Might have something for you a little bit later on, but we'll wait and see with that. Room for negotiation at that price. He'll end up going to Brentford for 10 million quid. Big six tax, 100%, mate. 100%. You're right, guys. We'll leave it there. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Slap a like on the video. Thank you so much for joining this morning. We are having a break over the weekend. We will be releasing some of the short videos, but obviously the room mill doesn't go over the weekend. We will be back Monday with your Monday edition of the show. Might be a little bit later. Might be midday by the time it's out. So bear that in mind if you want us on your calendar. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure once again. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. My name is Conor McGilligan.